My name is Jeff Shore, and I'm one of the partners at Goranson, Bain, Ausley law firm. I am board certified in family law by the Texas Board of Legal Specialization, and my topic today is how complex property issues are handled in a divorce court. Complicated property matters in a divorce usually involve property where the fair market value is not easily or readily determined. Those often involve ownership of a business where the court has to determine the fair market value of the business within the divorce process. Many times the value is complicated because the business is not owned by the individual spouse, but it is held within an entity like a corporation, a partnership, or a limited liability company. Sometimes the married spouse does not own 100% of the business, but has partners, which also impacts the valuation process. In some cases, the asset to be valued is held inside a trust, and that further complicates the valuation process. In cases where the court is determining the value of complicated property, there are several steps that are used in the divorce process. In some cases, the owners of a business have entered into a written agreement where the owners have decided how they will value the business in the event of a divorce. Under Texas law, when the owners of a business have entered into a written agreement with a process for determining value in the event of divorce, the courts follow the valuation as agreed by the owners. In other cases where the owners have not entered into a written agreement to establish the value of the company or an ownership interest in the event of a divorce, the process is more complicated. In those cases, the spouse may hire a certified accountant who is a business valuation specialist. They rely upon their special education, training, and often a certification to review the assets and the cash flow of the business and to form an opinion as to what is the fair market value of the business. In many cases, this involves looking at not only financial documents, but with attention to whether the business is asset intensive, like a trucking company, or perhaps more of a service business, like a law firm. Texas courts have approved a methodology for business valuation that follows the Internal Revenue Service regulations for valuing a business when the owner dies. The valuation then is done for estate tax purposes, but we use the same methodology in Texas for valuing a business in a divorce. If the divorce case goes to trial, the judge has to make a determination as to what is the value of the marital interest in the business. In many cases, each spouse has hired their own valuation expert, and each of those experts may testify during the trial. The judge is not bound by the opinions of the experts, but will make their own finding as to what is the value of the marital interest in the business at the time of the divorce. Many people are curious about what the judge does to award the business interest following a trial of a divorce case. Depending on the value of the business and the value of other assets, the court may award the business to one spouse and award assets of equal value to the other spouse so that there is a fair and equitable division of the marital estate. In cases where there is not enough other assets to equalize the division, one spouse might still be awarded the entire business, and the other spouse would be awarded a money judgment to equalize the division. In those cases, the judge will establish not only the amount of money to be paid, but also a payment plan, an interest rate, and oftentimes will assign security or collateral for the amount to be paid. This will often include the business interest being awarded to the other spouse, but it might also include other assets so that the spouse receiving money under the payment plan will have collateral or security for the amount that they are being paid. So if you are thinking about divorce or involved in a divorce where there is a business corporation, a partnership, or a trust, the most important advice that I can share with you is to hire a lawyer who has experience and knowledge in these areas of the law.